Oh my goodness, I am back from an incredible and emotional adventure that is Suikoden II, which came out for PlayStation in 1998. I gained a hell of a following from my Suikoden 1 video, and nigh all the comments were, you think Suikoden 1 is good, you should play Suikoden 2. Suikoden 2 is amazing, Suikoden 2 this, Suikoden 2 that, Suikoden 2 everything. Well, ask, or rather, bombard and you shall receive. Here is your Suikoden 2 review, and I have to say this game is absolutely unbelievable. I imported my perfect Suikoden 1 file into Suikoden 2, got all the extra goodies, and man, Suikoden 2 made me smile, laugh, hurt, I cried at all emotional endings. It was so bad, but so damn good. Suikoden 2 takes off with two childhood best friends, Ryu, the main protagonist, and Jowie. You two are both a part of the Unicorn Brigade of Highland's Youth Division. You're camping out, soon to go home with loved friends and family. The peace treaty between the city-state and Highland will soon be enacted. But suddenly, in the dead of night, the camp is attacked, members of their squad slaughtered. And one of the best and ruthless villains I've ever had the pleasure of facing, Prince of Highland's Luca Blight, orchestrated this uncanny attack. The pair of friends find out it was a ruse by Highland to make it seem like the city-state attacked the Unicorn Brigade and caused the treaty to fall through. Ryu and Jowie escape by the waterfall. It's not long until the Highland soldiers discover them, already spreading the rumor that Ryu and Jowie were city-state spies, pinning this entire attack on them. With nowhere else to run, they make a jump for it. Little did they know this underhanded raid was going to change their entire lives, as they both become holders of true runes. Ryu gets the Bright Shield rune, which specializes in healing, which fucking sucked. Not really, it saved my ass a few times, but pinning the best healing abilities on the main character kinda blows. While Jowie becomes the owner of the Black Sword rune, which is indefinitely more badass and straight offensive. But story-wise, it makes sense why Ryu and Jowie get the runes that they did. Neither, however, compared to the glorious Soul Eater of the previous game. What unfolds from this event is more than just battles between city-state and Highland. The story is masterfully layered, with unfinished business between old friends being passed down to a new generation, what family is, multiple arcs, which is genius by the way. The tone of the game completely changes after a point. Betrayal, love, friendship, and I'm talking about that real substantial friendship too. None of that can't be Kingdom Hearts, we just met and did a single mission together and now we're friends garbage. What the two friends Ryu and Jowie endure for one another, themselves for their countrymen, the opposing side's countrymen, how they live with their decisions, it's so rich. Every piece of dialogue, every encounter with Jowie and Ryu was so purposeful. If you can't tell from my enthusiasm, this was by far my favorite aspect of the game. Two characters who are best friends separated and forged their own conflicting destinies. Furthermore, if you transferred your data from Suikoden 1, or at least played the first one, seeing familiar faces, good or evil, return felt great. While you don't need to play the first game to understand this game, you'll be missing out on some incredible moments and references with characters whose journeys who you've missed out on. In addition to superb character chemistry, Suikoden 2 introduces one of the best video game villains of all time, Prince Luca Blight. He is a ruthless, sadistic psychopath. Here is the most iconic scene in the entire game. That is Luca motherfucking Blight. He is the holder of the Beast rune and lives up to every bit of hype. He is no joke. You ever see a villain, Zant, who appears to be badass, Zant, and when you fight him, he's just another generic boss, Zant. The game just fluffs up their hype and their power for plot purposes, Zant. Well, not Luca Blight. I found him more terrifying and his battle to be more epic than Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. Feel free to fight me in the comments below. On a happier note, let's take a look at the gameplay. It's pretty much Suikoden 1, but better. I'm gonna splice this segment up by my complaints and how Suikoden II rectified them. First, I'm gonna start off with the gameplay not related to combat. So let me kick this off by showing you the most important and major update Suikoden II did. Did you see that? One more time. You can run. It's such a simple change, but it makes a world of difference. So more on the gameplay, the ultimate goal is to build up your rebellion against the Highland army by collecting 108 Stars of Destiny, which is like a giant side quest. The Stars of Destiny are identified by their unique sprite. General rule of thumb is if they have a portrait, they're recruitable. Each of the stars has a role. Some can be used in battles while others open up shops or provide minigames in your castle. Because there's no in-game guide to tell you where to look for each star, there's no shame in using a guide. Occasionally you get a little hint in NPC dialogue, but it can easily be overlooked. I did feel some essential characters were accessible late in the game, like a blacksmith who can make your weapons stronger. It's a bit past the halfway point when he becomes available for recruitment. Yes, there are other blacksmiths around the world that were available, but to have one at your headquarters late in game was a bit inconvenient. A few other additions to the Suikoden series is trading posts. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. Buy low, sell high. Having 108 characters to keep armored up and weapons sharpened cost a pretty penny, and this was one way to rake in the dough if you didn't mind traveling or grinding for money. And a side note on traveling, fast traveling in this game was subpar because you had to start from headquarters, fast travel to a town, then use the blinking mirror and go back to headquarters, then go to another town. You always had to go back to headquarters instead of being able to blink from town to town. There are new minigames like cooking or whack-a-mole. Some minigames totally pay homage to how you recruit characters in the previous game. Shops have rare finds, which are limited items that if you don't grab right away, they disappear. And a new scroll shop where runes can be turned into scrolls that correspond to what spells the rune casts. And we have quests which were poorly executed, some were timed, and I simply was not dealing with that. Now let's press onward to the battles. You select what action you want to do, attack, defend, use an item, etc. For each character you lock in your action, it was always fun to see the rounds unfold, and the camera simply zoomed in to show a critical attack being performed. You can use a rune, which are magic attacks. And a huge improvement of this game is you can hold multiple runes instead of just one, which greatly widened character builds. Items let you use an item a character is holding. Note, Character X does not have access to character-wise items. There is a shared item pool, but that can be accessed only outside of battle. Also, they added a separate convenient key item section, which freed out standard item slots. There are unite attacks, which if certain characters are acquainted with one another, they can perform a strong attack together that uses both of their turns. There's also unite magic attacks, which happen when certain high-level magics are used in the same turn. And speaking on rune magic, previous criticism. Two minor gripes was there wasn't very good visual cues for status effects such as sleep. No Z's, their eyes wouldn't close, nada. You'd hear the music slow down and the enemies seem to get hit, but you'd never actually know until the game skips the enemy's turn and it's your turn again.
Oh, yes.
We got visual cues now! They did add details of what the runes and the unite attacks did. However, for some they didn't tell how long or how many uses the spell had. A new feature is shift, which allows the characters to swap positions with the character in front of them. There are also formations. S means they have short range, so they must be in the front row to attack. M is medium, so front or back, but they can only attack the front row. And L is for long range, meaning they can attack both the front and back row. Previous criticism. While progressing stories, sometimes a character will join you, forcing you to remove someone from your party. This sucks because the game doesn't show what combat style your new ally is. So you remove a party member and hope that the new recruit fits. Now you can go back and reorganize your party, sometimes, but sometimes not and you're shit out of luck. They fixed this. When you progress the story and have to remove a character from your full party for another, they clearly show the character's stats and fighting type. And sometimes you have the option of putting a story character into the convoy, meaning you don't have to change up your party, but the character is still traveling with you. Another appreciation I have for this game is how quick characters level up, as you'll be able to play several different characters. It's nowhere near as grindy as you think a game with multiple playable characters would be. It alleviated the horror of trying new characters and building them to your current level. So that's just standard battles. The Suikoden series has several different types of fighting. First, the army battles. They switched up from Suikoden 1's rock, paper, scissors system and moved to more of a strategy type game. It does keep the traditional infantry, archer, and mage units. You move and have the option to attack, wait, or use a rune. Depending on your platoon build depends on your attack and defense. You can build each squad as you like by rearranging the stars of destiny. Each star has a special passive or active that can be used in battle. More movement or flame spears. And just like the first game, people die. Personally, I didn't enjoy this new army system. That may be because I'm not a huge strategy game fan. Plus, sometimes when you attack or were defending, it felt like nothing was happening. Oftentimes, nobody would die or you'd get a nick or be nicked by an enemy. Despite having high attack or defense numbers, it ultimately felt like a game of luck. Even though with Suikoden 1 you honestly just had to guess what type of attack the enemy was going to do, rock, papers, or scissors, regardless of the outcome, I always felt some sort of progress was being made. On a positive note, the army battles had various objectives. It's not just clear the field, it could be save person X, defend a town, or stall, which ultimately did change how you played the field. In any case, I did not look forward to any army battle, unfortunately. And lastly, the duels, which I am so glad they kept the same. Duels are fierce, pressured one-on-one battles, where you have three options: to attack, defend, and wild attack. Attack against defend obviously weakens the damage, wild attack versus attack does more damage, and wild attack versus defend, the defense takes no damage and counters with heavy damage. How you choose to select your option is based on what your opponent says, which lightly hints at their next move. This by far is one of the best things about this game, as it makes battle seem so personal and victory so sweet. Graphics, another thing Suikoden II did better. Improved pixel art, more character animations and expressions, the spells are grander looking, character details were sharpened, even army battles, while the characters still look like ants, even they got some enhancements. And they even went an extra step, depending on certain character states, their art changed. Now what really brought the heat was the pre-rendered cutscenes. I was absolutely taken back by this. Now the castle. My previous complaint. Your castle has 4 floors, a basement, and a roof. If you want to save or shop for items, you have to go to floor 1. To manage your storage or sharpen your weapons, you had to go to floor 2. To progress the story or change your party, you had to go to floor 4. Frankly, more or less, I have the same issues. While you don't have to change floors, where you change your party, where you rest, where your storage is, where your shops are still scattered. And I still don't like it. It doesn't change the fact I have to go to and from. That being said, the castle is visually more appealing, vibrant, and lively. Instead of only having recruitable characters in your castle, NPCs live there, giving your castle a more bustling feel. Our final bit is the music, which just like in the first game, I don't care for folklore music. Not bad, but certainly not a soundtrack I find myself returning to. There are also a few sound bugs, like some of the army battles had no background sound. Or when recruiting a character who sings, for some reason it didn't play. Regardless, I will say the music is better, as there were tracks that actually grabbed my attention that I remember that bring me back to certain moments and towns. Suikoden II also had a lot more variety in their music this time around. Certain city themes changed when they were invaded. There was unique and characterized music that really added to special moments, like being seduced. Or when you're chatting with a detective. Also, this is by far the best boss battle music in Suikoden II. That is a song I'll be returning to. But, to my surprise, the music that made a lasting impression on me was their emotional tracks, specifically Reminisce. I think it really added to the touching moments the characters shared. This is gonna sound stupid and corny, but every time I hear Reminisce, I feel the burden and connection of Ryu and Joey's star-crossed hearts. It just destroys me. Suikoden II gets a 9 out of 10. I know some of you guys are thinking, what, you gave Suikoden 1 a 9 out of 10. That's true. I thought about maybe reneging and reevaluating my thoughts on Suikoden 1 and lowering the score, but for what it was still an amazing, unique, and ambitious game. But it is clear that Suikoden II is astronomically superior in gameplay, story, graphics, and even the music. This game more or less took everything of Suikoden 1 and made it better, but there is still criticism to be had, namely how to figure out how to gain certain characters to join your cause, or character quests, timed character quests, which were the worst. I still hate the castle design, and I was told all the castles more or less than all the Suikoden games have the same issue, so prepare for that to be a constant complaint. Was not a fan of the army battles whatsoever. Fast traveling in this game needs to be better. I would also like access in certain towns for you to be able to switch your characters instead of going back to headquarters. This is only going to make sense if you play the game, but there should have been a way to fast travel from Gregminster. But regardless, how this game jerks your heart around, A+. The villainy, the story, the layering, how the tone and the dynamic of the game changes midway is just incredible. This game probably has one of my favorite character chemistries ever. Well, that's about it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this stellar title. Also, question, is there a villain that you feel doesn't get talked about enough or was forgotten about? Because I sure as hell feel that way about Luca Blight. He was extraordinary. I am looking forward to playing the rest of the Suikoden series for better or for worse. I hear 3 and 4 aren't as good as 2 and 5, but I'm gonna play it and make my own judgment. Thank you so much for watching. Top box is more reviews, and bottom box is my Let's Play channel. And be sure to follow all of my socials in the description. Love your faces. I know I'm super late, but I will be doing a 5K subscriber Q&A. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Leave me 2 so I can pick one or the other, gaming related or not. So get creative.